Welcome in for another edition of Bet. I'm your host, Anita Marks, on this Monday night, and we've got a Monday night football game that Tyler Fulghum and I are going to break down for you. The Dallas Cowboys going up against the Tennessee Titans. Not that Tennessee's going to put their starting lineup out on the field, but there's still bets to be made. Also, we're going to look big picture heading into this week's slate of games in the NFL. We've got David Newton, who covers the Carolina Panthers, who's going to be joining us, giving us some insight on that team going up against the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, of course, we've got to have Jenna Laine on, who does a phenomenal job covering the Tampa Bay Bucks. And Kevin Seifert is going to join us to talk about the Minnesota Vikings as they get ready for their matchup against the Green Bay Packers. Let's take you to Las Vegas. We bring in Tyler. Tyler, how you doing? Long time. I saw you just a few minutes ago on Daily Wager. Here we are on Bet. You ready to play a little good word, my friend?
I think I'm ready, and I think I know, unlike on Daily Wager, that you are Anita Marks, and our friend Aaron's last name is Dolan. I think I got that figured out now.
Right, and I'll try not to call you Tyler Marks in the course of the next 30 minutes. But let's dive into the good word. Luka put on a show, man. Unbelievable. Plus 300 right now, 3-1 to win the MVP behind Jayson Tatum. What's your good word?
Well, Luka was my preseason pick. He was the preseason favorite for the third consecutive year. Of course, it's Nikola Jokic who's won each of the last two. But my good word for Luka is him, as in he is him. You see guys all the time celebrating touchdowns or big dunks, big plays, saying, I am him. Well, Luka is him. He is Luka the God. He is Luka the Don. He is Luka doing stuff we've never seen before in the NBA. 60, 21, and 10. 2 games ago against the Houston Rockets, who he plays tonight, he had a 50-point effort. I think he may have had a triple-double in that game. I'd have to go back and check. But bottom line is, Luka is just a cheat code right now. He is him, and him is the league MVP. That's who I think is, at least.
Okay, by the way, quick correction. Our producer, Weimer, just notified me. It's not Monday, it's Thursday night. So it would be the Thursday night game. I don't know about you, but because of the holidays, I don't even know what day it is. But nonetheless, yes, it is the Thursday night game. My good word is pass. You know why? I'm taking KD. I'm taking Kevin Durant at 8-1. Better odds anyway. Man, Nets, they've won 10 straight, and a big reason why Kevin Durant is balling out. He's averaging 30 points a game. Drama-filled offseason. Who would have thunk the Nets would be sitting here at 23-12? Certainly not me, and I'm in the New York area. So, man, what a season this has been for the Nets, and I do believe that they're going to make some money moves as we get closer to the trade deadline, bring in some help rebounding the ball. So my word is pass, because I'm putting my money on Kevin Durant in those Nets that I think are really here to ball out. Question number 2, Miami. Plus 2.5 dogs in New England against the Patriots. What's your good word?
December, as in it's December in New England. And those mammals, those Dolphins, swimming all the way north up to Foxborough, that's dangerous. We know it's Teddy Bridgewater under center instead of Tua Tagovailoa. And I know Bridgewater's been a very good road ATS dog in his career and just a really good quarterback in his career after that devastating injury early with the Minnesota Vikings. But I think Miami is in a tough spot here. I think Belichick and the Patriots are able to win and cover this game. I think they rely on that dominant defense and the cold weather up there, the outdoor elements and home field advantage to win an important, meaningful game in December, which Bill Belichick has always done against this Dolphins team that's kind of sinking, kind of drowning down the stretch here in December.
Yeah, my good word is fried, as in fried fish. No Tua, Teddy Bridgewater, love him. But this is an offense, by the way, the last 6 weeks, 27th in the NFL with Tua quarterbacking. And so defenses now have the blueprint. They know how to defend Waddle and Hill by getting that physicality at the line of scrimmage, not letting them get deep, of course, where you've got that vertical threat. And Teddy Bridgewater doesn't bring a vertical threat. He's more of a dink and dunk. On top of that, this Patriots defense is good. The Dolphins are bad on third down conversion as well. You read into this matchup, it checks all the boxes on the defensive side, especially for the Patriots. So fried, as in fried fish. I don't think the Dolphins win. I like the Patriots. And also, Tyler, I think the play here is under 43.5 in this game, especially, as you said, cold weather conditions as well. Question number 3, or statement number 3, Tennessee plus 102 tonight to score under 12 points. Again, keep in mind a number of players not expected to suit up and play tonight for the Tennessee Titans. So with that being said, what's your good word?
Yeah, no Derrick Henry, a bunch of offensive linemen hurt. Now Ryan Tannehill, now no Malik Willis. They're putting Josh Dobbs under center, who they signed off the Lions practice squad, I think, 8 days ago, something like that. So my word is cover, because I think the Dallas Cowboys cover even the 14 points. And if they do, I think this is a good bet to correlate with that Dallas cover, that Tennessee is held to 11 points or fewer, a touchdown and a field goal, or maybe just a couple of field goals or just a touchdown. It's hard for me to imagine that with Dallas playing for something, knowing that if they win this game and Philadelphia loses, all of a sudden the NFC East is wide open, that they don't have a concerted, good effort on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, win this game and cover. A score of like 27-10 or maybe 28-6, something like that is what I'm seeing. But that would correlate with a Dallas cover, likely seeing Tennessee fail to score 12 points or more.
So my good word is rest, as in resting players that we know Tennessee is going to do from the get-go. As Dobbs has been announced that he's going to get the start, Derrick Henry not expected to play. Who knows who else on the offensive defensive side of the ball for Tennessee who's not going to play. So game script, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, who are playing to try to still win the NFC East. Keep in mind, not expecting, nothing's been announced yet, but not expecting Jalen Hurts to play for the Eagles. They've got a game against the Saints. If the Eagles lose out and Dallas wins out, they win the NFC East. So Dallas is playing for something. I think they come out guns a-blazing, and I think they're going to put up a ton of points. Who knows? They might be up by 35, 40 points in the fourth quarter, and then they're going to take the pedal off the metal. And then what happens? I don't want to see Tennessee and their third and fourth string players put up 14, 17 points. So I'm staying away from this wager, by the way. There's just because we just don't know how this game is going to play out. I do know that the Dallas Cowboys are going to put up a ton of points. That I do know. So let's dive into that matchup. Again, the Thursday night football game, not the Monday night game. And this line, by the way, hopefully you watch Bet on Monday, because I told you on Monday, run to the window, buy this, get this at 9.5. Why? Because we were already hearing then that Vrabel was talking about resting players. Now, Tyler, it's up to 14. The over-under is at 40. How are you playing this now that the line is Dallas Cowboys favored by 14?
Well, I wish I could have purchased that ticket at 9.5 on Monday, but since it's Thursday and we have to pick according to the line at this moment, I will say 14 is my upper limit on the Dallas Cowboys. I'll lay it. Like I said, I think we get something like a 30-6, 27-10 type of Dallas win. I think it goes under the total, although I am concerned about Dallas kind of scoring 35, 38 points on their own. But I do think Dallas may kind of, not necessarily ease up, but may not go as deep into their bag of tricks in the playbook in this game and try and just execute very simple schemes, very simple philosophies, very simple layering of plays on top of one another, not go too deep in Kellen Moore's playbook, because they know they can win this game with like their C-plus game, because Tennessee is so ravaged by injury. So I'm going to lay the 14 with Dallas. I know you don't make a lot of money in the NFL laying that much on the road, but Tennessee is just, it is dilapidated. It is wrecked by injuries on both sides of the ball. It's not just offense, it's defense as well. So I think both sides of Dallas, offense and defense, will have an easy time doing what they want, asserting their will. They'll be playing with their varsity team. It's going to be a preseason JV squad for Tennessee. So I think Dallas wins, covers, and it barely stays under 40.
I think this is a great opportunity to play a two-team 6-point teaser, and even more. Maybe you want to throw in some more teams, but start with the first leg tonight with the Dallas Cowboys and tease them down to -8. Align that with a few. I think, Tyler, this is a phenomenal week to play teasers. I'm loving the Giants teasing them down to a pick'em, Carolina teasing them up to +9, teasing the Lions down to a pick'em. I think there's a lot of really good spreads out there, lines out there on the slate that you can utilize in teaser plays, and start with the Dallas Cowboys tonight. Again, for all the reasons we just said, Tennessee not playing their starters, Dallas playing to try to, of course, win the NFC East. And keep in mind, ever since Dak Prescott came back, point differential for the Dallas Cowboys, +199. The last 5 weeks for Tennessee, and that's with their starters, -51. So I think this is going to be an utter domination. With that being said, let's talk about some of the prop bets. I don't know about you, I'm steering clear of the Tennessee Titans. What prop bets are you looking at tonight?
Well, I'm not steering clear of the Tennessee Titans. And Anita, you are going to be proud of me because I have a plethora of prop plays. Woo! I'm going to start on the Dallas side. I like CeeDee Lamb to find the paint. We know the Tennessee defense is a pass funnel, very good against the run, very bad against the pass. Dak and CeeDee have been balling, so +116 anytime touchdown. And then literally every single under for wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs on the Tennessee offense as far as the passing yardage is concerned. I think Josh Dobbs is a better passer than Malik Willis, but you're going to get 6, 7 Tennessee players at running back, wide receiver, tight end. You're going to take them all under. I think we can win 5 out of those 7, 4 out of those 7, and come out ahead on the books by just taking a blind under on every single skill position player in Tennessee's passing game.
All right, sit back, relax. You know how I roll on these primetime games. I'm going to start with Dak Prescott. He's been an absolute beast as of late. So give me over 1.5 passing touchdowns, as well as, get this, only 10.5 rushing yards. Are you kidding me? He's rushed for 20, if not more, his last 3 games, and he's tossing 3 touchdowns a game in 3 of his last 4. Tennessee's allowed 19 passing touchdowns. Also, CeeDee Lamb over in receiving yards. Why? Tennessee's given up the most receiving yards to slot wide receivers, and CeeDee Lamb runs out of the slot at least 60% of the time. Same thing with tight end Schultz. Why? Tennessee giving up the most receiving yards to opposing tight ends this season. Ezekiel Elliott to find the end zone. Why? He has in 8 straight games. No Pollard. He's going to carry the rock a lot. And I think Malik Davis is a sneaky good play. Mike McCarthy said that he is going to be quote-unquote featured tonight in this game, and you could get him at, what is that, +425 to score a touchdown? I'm all over that. In a big way, I think that's probably the sneakiest good prop bet that's out there tonight. Before we start talking NBA, we have to rewind, because you know how much I adore you, Tyler. And for Christmas, I gave you the ultimate gift. We had a gift exchange where I gave you 3 plays for Christmas, and you gave me 3 plays for Christmas that, of course, both of us were supposed to play. Well, wouldn't you know it, my gift delivered. That's right. Cincinnati -3 against New England. Pittsburgh -2.5 against the Raiders. And, of course, that NFC East teaser I played with the Eagles and Giants. All 3 of my bets delivered. Tyler, Dallas and Philadelphia over-delivered for you. But, dude, the Rams and the Denver Broncos, that under did not hit. And your Grizzlies, -3.5 against Golden State, they lost by 20. So how are you going to make this up to me? This is not the way one friend treats another for Christmas, Tyler.
Yeah, that's fair. I certainly didn't see the Rams scoring 51 points, but I guess you can blame Russell Wilson for that because he threw the ball to the Rams defense about 4 times and let them turn, and so did Brett Rippon as well for that matter. So I apologize, Anita. I was the Grinch who stole your Christmas after you were so kind to me to deliver 3 beautiful gifts. Open them up, shiny. They fit. They're exactly what I was looking for. And then, I gave you, I guess, like a nice shirt, but you already have a zillion, and then 2 lumps of coal. So shame on me. I owe you, next time you're out here, multiple bottles of wine or a couple of martinis, dinner or something, a round of golf. You name the price there, but I was not a good friend. You're right. Mea culpa.
Don't threaten me with a good time on a golf course, Tyler. Just how many strokes are you going to give me? All right,
there's the true gift. There's the true gift. How many strokes I give you.
Exactly. Talking about the NBA, let's dive into the slate tonight. And, of course, you've got the Clippers going up against the Celtics. This is going to be a good one. Celtics favored by 6.5. The over-under is at 228. How are you playing this?
Yeah, I like the Clippers, pardon me. I think the Celtics have gotten back on track here a little bit. They had a little lull about a week or two ago. Now they've been really good at the end of this home stretch. But the Clippers are healthy. As far as I have seen today, they're expected to have the full complement of players. And when that's the case, I think giving them 6.5 points even in Boston against a team as good as the Celtics is a little bit too much respect for the Celtics, or not enough respect for the LA Clippers. They won 7 of their last 9 games. They've been on this road trip beating good teams. When Kawhi is in there and engaged, when Paul George, and Ivica Zubac, and they got guys coming off the bench as well, John Wall, Norm Powell. I mean, this is a really, really good team. So I think it's a good, close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics win. But I think 6.5 is giving value to the Clippers side more so than the Celtics side.
I'm with you, lockstep. Give me the Clippers and the points for sure. This is their 4th straight road game. They're 2-3 so far on the road. But get this, they have been dominant against the East. They're 10-4 against East Conference teams, averaging 113 points a game, shooting 40% from behind the arc, had the 3rd best defense in the NBA, and they beat the Celtics before earlier on in the season. Boston struggles, of course, with their defense as of late. Still, since Robert Williams has come back, trying to kind of find that flow, find that groove. So I'm with you. I like the Clippers in the points. Rockets going up against the Mavs. Luka coming off that phenomenal game against the Knicks. Mavs are favored by 10. The over-under is 226. What is your play here?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Luka the Don. We were talking about him earlier in the show. Luka Doncic, his point prop is 32.5. I think he can get there to 33. If not, put up another 40, 50, 60 burger. We know what he's coming off of. Just a couple of games ago, they played Houston in H-Town. Luka dropped 50 in that game against this opponent. I think it was 6 of 12 from downtown. We know the Rockets are a team that does not play much defense. I think they're 28th in the NBA in defensive rating. So Luka should be able to get wherever he wants and do whatever he wants, even easier than most NBA opponents. So I like Luka to go over his point prop. It's 32.5, but I see a classic 35, 9, and 8 type of day for Luka at the office.
Yeah, he's got to be coming in feeling really good about that 60, 21, and 10 stat that he put up against the Knicks. And I think he picks up where he leaves off. Not that he's going to put up over 60 points, but I like him in over assists and rebounds. Why? Houston, one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and specifically they have a hard time against point guards. Point guards are averaging 9 assists against them. Luka, mind you, is averaging 20 combined rebounds and assists a game. So I'm going over 17.5 assists and rebounds for Luka tonight in the game against Houston. This is where we say hasta la vista, my friend. I know it's been a long day for you. Enjoy the Thursday night game. If I don't see you, happy holidays to you and yours.
Yeah, happy holidays, Anita. And again, sorry for the Christmas gifts. I am the Grinch. Bah humbug.
Yep, I'll see you on the golf course next time I'm in Vegas. All right, we take you from Las Vegas. We take you to Carolina. David Newton is joining us. He does a phenomenal job covering the Carolina Panthers that have been kicking butt and taking names. David, unbelievable, right? So Carolina now in control. They beat the Bucs this week and they beat the Saints next week. They make it in. They win the division. They make it in. Last time they faced Brady, they were able to get to him, rattle his cage. That's how you beat Brady teams. But more importantly, Sam Darnold has been absolutely spectacular. For Sam Darnold's tendencies, he's won 3 of 4 and 0 turnovers. So with that being said, what do his teammates, what's the vibe around Sam Darnold right now in this team?
Well, it's funny you say for Sam Darnold, because for Sam Darnold, this is amazing. He's never had more than 3 games in a row without a turnover, and he's been known for doing nothing but make mistakes throughout his career that have cost teams win. That's why the Jets gave up on him. That's why Carolina gave up on him after last year. But the Panthers, the players, they believe in Sam Darnold, and they're really not that surprised he's playing this well. For one, they saw confidence building in him in training camp. And 2, during the first 10 weeks or 11 weeks of the season, while Sam was recuperating from an ankle sprain and watching Baker Mayfield and P.J. Walker play, he hung around the defense and he got a different perspective on what he sees from an offensive standpoint. He learned from them how he can do things to help him remain patient and not panic. And as he said back in the Jets days, see ghosts out there. And it's really made a difference. He's playing with the patience, letting the game come to him, and really doing a fantastic job right now of leading this team and managing the game. And the fact he's got this rushing game that's unbelievable, 320 yards rushing, a team record last week. Nobody imagined that. So, yeah, Sam Darnold's playing well. This team, it's been a storybook season. Josh Norman came back this week, and Josh Norman's 35 years old and hadn't played us down this year. But Josh Norman has an attitude and a dog about him that the Panthers love. And he said it felt like a dream or a movie to be out here and back with the team he helped get to the Super Bowl in 2015. And a lot of ways, this whole season's kind of like a dream or a movie for the Panthers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sam Darnold's not in New York anymore, seeing ghosts. So good for him. Full disclosure, last week, I liked the Lions. I thought the Lions were going to beat Carolina. I laid the points, and boy, was I wrong. You talked about it, 320 rushing yards, 570 total yards this Carolina Panthers offense put up on the Detroit Lions. So what does this team feel? Do they feel like they're peaking at the right time? Because this isn't how they started the beginning of the season, David.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the offensive line was brand new. That was one of the things that General Manager Scott Fitter did during the offseason. He tried to rebuild the offensive line that was one of the worst in the league last year. And it took them a while to gel. But they've had basically the same group out there except for their starting center all season. And since Bradley Bozeman took over at center, they've really added a physicality up front that's made a big difference. And they've been able to run the ball consistently almost every team they've faced. They did have a hiccup against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago and had only 21 yards rushing, and that was an embarrassment for this team. And right tackle Taylor Moton was so embarrassed that before last Friday's practice against the Lions, he brought black ski mask out to every lineman and had them wear it out to practice just to show that attitude that we're just not going to be denied anything when we get on that field against Detroit. And he's actually debating whether he should bring him out again because it really did the trick. I mean, I've never seen a rushing performance quite like that.
Well, it's been impressive to watch, especially with all the changes that have taken place with Carolina in mid-season. David, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. We take you from Carolina to Tampa. Jenna Laine joins us now, and of course, she covers the Tampa Bay Bucs. So, Jenna, welcome into Bet. First things first, the Bucs are alive. Can you believe it? As horrible as this season has been for everyone in that division, they still can dominate and control their destiny. With that being said, when they went up against Carolina the first time around, Carolina pretty much dominated them. What are they doing to prepare for this matchup? Because we just heard from David and how different this Carolina team has been playing. What are they doing film-wise, prep-wise? How are they getting ready for this matchup this week?
Yeah, Anita, Coach Todd Bowles said this is their playoffs. This is their postseason. Their postseason starts now. Several guys echoed that in the locker room. Russell Gage said, this is why he came here. He hasn't gotten to play in games like this, meaningful games like this, so late in the season in December. He said, this time of the year, normally I'm having cars shipped and going home. But they really feel like they've needed to go back, and I know as painful it is, they have watched that previous game, that 21-3 loss that you referenced there in Week 7. They've gone back, they've studied it closely. We talked to Byron Leftwich, their offensive coordinator, about that today. And they also have gone back and watched several other outings against this team. Obviously a different coaching staff then, and they've made a number of changes that have really benefited them there with Steve Wilkes now becoming the head coach. But in doing so, if they feel like they can still get a good idea about tendencies, the way this team will try to attack them. But the real key message that I've gotten from players and talking to them has just been that they've got to buckle up right now. It's really been like that the last few weeks, still up and down, but now is the time to really get consistent and also healthy. Health has been an issue, and if you look at the injury report, it is quite long.
Yeah, as I said earlier when I just brought you on, right, the Bucs in the driver's seat. If they win this week, then Week 18 doesn't matter. They could solidify their ticket into the playoffs. But you mentioned the injuries on the defensive side of the ball. We've seen several. So who are some of the key players we need to keep an eye on as we get closer to the game?
Anita, the top guy is cornerback Carlton Davis. He suffered a shoulder injury against the Arizona Cardinals this past week, and he was a key reason why the defense was able to clamp down and the Bucs were able to come from behind and get that overtime win. He has not practiced this week, so it's going to be very telling when he goes out, if he does in fact go out there tomorrow to practice, so we'll keep an eye on him. Also, defensive tackle Vita Vea. We have not seen him in several weeks. He's been dealing with a calf strain. He suffered that against the San Francisco 49ers. He returned to practice this week. He's practice limited. We'll see if they can get him out there because this Bucs team surrendered 173 rushing yards to the Panthers in Week 7. He can be a key reason as to why they can mitigate that rushing attack. And then you also got to look at Carl Nassib. It is still mind-blowing to me that the Bucs only had 2 healthy outside linebackers, Anthony Nelson and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, against the Cardinals, and those guys played every snap. It's really unheard of. But Nassib has been dealing with a pectoral injury for a few weeks. He didn't practice last week, returned to practice this week, and I know he's very eager to try and get back out there. So keep an eye on those guys on defense. And I go back to Davis. I also go back to Jamel Dean, another cornerback. As much as Zion McCollum was picked on when these two teams faced off in Week 7, he's a rookie cornerback, they would like to not have to bring him back out there. So ideally, you can have one of those guys out there. Dean's been dealing with a toe injury. It's an injury to his big toe, which is very difficult for cornerbacks. And then on the offensive line, I said there were a lot of injuries, but Tristan Wirfs re-aggravated a high ankle sprain that he had that forced him to miss several games. He aggravated it against the Cardinals, but he already told me, I'm playing no matter what this week. So then we got to look at left tackle Donovan Smith. He's been out with a foot injury, didn't practice last week, returned this week, and we'll see if he's able to give it a go out there. But otherwise, I mean, with Wirfs out there against the Cardinals, he was just the one healthy carryover that they had from the previous season, and that doesn't bode well for Tom Brady's protection.
Wow, just to go through the injury list, it would take our entire 30 minutes, Jenna. So, but appreciate you. Thank you so much for your insight. Enjoy the game later on this week. All right, I'm going to pick the game, and for me, it's Carolina. I like them. Give me Carolina. Give me the points. Also, I think it'd be good. I talked about it earlier in the show with Tyler. Utilize them as a 2-team 6-point teaser. Tease them up to +9. They've been playing exceptional ball as of late. Sam Darnold's been playing really well. Of course, we discussed that with David. Foreman has been playing great. Huge special teams advantage for Carolina as well. Tampa Bay, not so much. They look good against the Lions, and they are playing to win this division. Carolina wins out against the Bucs, and next week against the Saints, they will represent their division. So I'm going with Carolina. Let's turn our attention to another division rival game that's going to be really fun to watch, and that's the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Green Bay Packers. Kevin Seifert is joining us now. So Kevin, welcome in. First things first, week 1 was when these two teams played each other, right? Aaron Rodgers, only 200 passing yards. Not great. As of late, offense is starting to come around. We're seeing the chemistry with him and his wide receivers, but news today is that he's dealing with a knee issue, a knee injury. He is expected to play. What's the vibe? What's the buzz around the Vikings locker room with the news that Aaron Rodgers is coming into the game with somewhat of a knee injury?
Well, it's kind of similar to a lot of the games recently. They have not been able to play against an Aaron Rodgers team without him being extremely injured at various times, and so it's something that they have dealt with many times before. They know they're very good at not causing a bulletin board situation. They're very good at saying the right thing. Patrick Peterson today was saying that Aaron Rodgers is the best long ball thrower, deep ball thrower in the history of the NFL. So I don't think they're worried about it. I honestly don't think they think he's going to play any differently, and it's just another thing in the history of their rivalry.
Yeah, we were talking with Adam Schefter earlier, and Adam was like, Aaron Rodgers is so good he could probably just play with one knee. But nonetheless, this Minnesota Vikings team, they are the king of one-score victories, right? 11-0 in one-score games so far this season. What are the Vikings players saying about that?
Yeah, I mean, they're proud of the record that they've had this year. I mean, they don't understand why so many people around the country are kind of knocking them for not having for having so many close games. I mean, the object is to win, and they've won as many games as every NFL team except one, and that's the Eagles. And so they know, and Kevin O'Connell has stressed it a lot, that he has to that they would love to have a full four-quarter game this year, and they would love to be able to blow a team out and have an easy ride, but maybe that might just be who they are. They might be a team that's got some flaws and has some issues, but is good enough that if the game's within reach at the end of the game, they can win it out.
So just out of curiosity, right now the Minnesota Vikings are sitting with the number 2 seed in the NFC. Now it's really interesting because the Philadelphia Eagles play at 1 o'clock against the Saints. If the Philadelphia Eagles win, then it's the 2 seed for them. Of course, deciding what happens with the 49ers. But if Eagles win, they don't have an opportunity to get the number 1 seed. How aware are they going into this game about that scenario? And where do they think they're going to end up in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, what they love to do is play at home. They're 8-1 this year at US Bank Stadium, and they know that that in order to make a run in the playoffs, they're probably going to want to play at least multiple games at home, and so that would mean at least the number 2 seed, if not the number 1. And in order to do that, Anita, they're going to have to win probably both of their games. If they lose one of their games, the remaining games, they're probably going to drop down to number 3 and lose the tiebreaker to the 49ers. And so they know more than anything that they want to play as many home games as they can. And so that puts all the meaning into these last 2 games that they would need. You would think a 12-win team that's already clinched the division might be just sort of playing it out and resting people for the playoffs, but they really want to play those games at home for a lot of different reasons, and that gives them a lot of motivation for these final 2 games.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a good one for sure. Really do appreciate your time. As always, when we end the show, we like to end it with, before I let you go. And on Saturday, it's New Year's Eve. What does that mean? It is college. It is the college football playoffs. And so I've got 2 plays for you with the top 4 teams. And let's start the first game, of course, Michigan going up against TCU, the Horned Frogs. At the end of the day, Michigan is the better team. I like Michigan. I'm going to play Michigan -7. You can get that at -125. Better run game, better offensive line, better defense. Their quarterback McCarthy has a very favorable matchup against TCU's secondary. Also, this is a Michigan team. They play great when the stakes are high. They're 5-2 against the spread against ranked opponents their last 7 games. Edwards has stepped up great for Corum, of course, who got injured and has not played the last few weeks. And last but not least, this Michigan coaching staff is one of the best in college football in making halftime adjustments and coming out and dominating the second half. Game number 2 at night. This is going to be a good one. Of course, you've got Georgia going up against the Buckeyes. I'm going to lay the points with Georgia, -6.5. I also like the under here at 62. OSU going to be missing a few players, wide receivers, as well as their running back Henderson, because they've opted out getting ready for the NFL draft. Georgia, their defense is just so good, right? Like, teams are only averaging 12 points a game against them. I think Ohio State will be lucky if they put up 24. Third best against opponents on third down conversion, best red zone defense, 28 trips to the red zone against Georgia's defense, and they've only allowed 9 touchdowns. So for me, it's Georgia -6.5, and again, I like the under in that matchup. Everybody, enjoy the game tonight, and Happy New Year. Hopefully we've given you some winners.